Okay, we're done with percents now for a little bit, and we're going to move on to functions and relations. But before that, it's important to make sure that we're comfortable with graphing and understanding what's called the coordinate plane. You should already know this, but we'll go ahead and review it just in case. So the coordinate plane is created by drawing two lines, one going vertical and one going horizontal, like that. The horizontal one is called the x-axis. The vertical one is called the y-axis. We have 4 quadrants, right? When these two axes intersect like that, you get 4 squares. So on the top right square, right over here, that is called quadrant 1. The top left square over here is quadrant 2. Bottom left square here is quadrant 3. And the bottom right square is quadrant number 4. So I've plotted some points here, A, B, C, D, and E, and you should be able to figure out what their coordinate points are. So for A, right, well, we want to start at the origin. That's our starting point always when we're plotting points or figuring out what the coordinates of a point are. The origin is right here, origin, and it has the coordinates 0, 0. The first coordinate is your x coordinate. The second coordinate is your y coordinate. So we're going to start at the origin. All right, we're going to start here, and let's figure out what the x coordinate of point A is. Well, if here, this is 0 on x, and then we got 1, 2, and then 3. So we know that A has an x coordinate of 3. And what's its y coordinate? Well, we just figure out where it is vertically. If we go up 1 and then 2, we know that it's at 2. All right, for B, start at the origin again. And we don't have to move left or right because B is directly above the origin, so we know that it has a x coordinate of 0. Don't move left or right, we just go up. How far do we go up? We go 5 up. So 0, 5 is the coordinate for B. Feel free to pause the video and do the rest of these or skip it because you should already know this. All right, C, again, start at the origin, but this time we're going to go left instead of right. We're going to go left 1, and when we move left on the x-axis, it's like going in reverse, going to negative. So that's going to be -1 for the x coordinate, and then we go up 1 for the y coordinate. So -1, 1 is going to be our coordinate point there. All right, for D, right, we start at the origin, and then we're going to move left to a right above the point. And so that's going to be -4 because we're going to the left, and then down 1. So since we're going down, it's also going to be negative. So -4, -1 is point D. All right, E, so again, start at the origin. Let's go to the right, 1, 2, 3. So E is going to have 3 as the x coordinate, and then down 4, right? If we just project to the x-axis, we can see that it's y coordinate is 4, but since we're going down, it's actually going to be -4. Okay, now working in reverse, if you're given some points and you're asked to plot them on a graph, on a coordinate plane like this here, again, you should know how to do this already, but if you don't, you start at the origin. So always start at the origin, at the center there, and then take a look at the x coordinate. That'll tell you how far left or right to move. So since it's 0 for point A, we're not going to move at all along the x-axis. We're going to stay put at the origin there for now. Then you take a look at the y coordinate. And since it says -1, that means we're going to go down 1. So I start at the origin here, and then I go down 1. I don't need to move left or right because my x-coordinate is 0, and there is point A. All right, for B, we got -5 as our x-coordinate and as our y, so it's kind of hard to mess this one up. Start at the origin, and then take a look at your x-coordinate. Since it's -5, we're going to move to the left. So I'm going to move to the left, -5, and this will be my new point where I'm going to jump from. And then the y-coordinate is also -5. So since it's negative and it's a y-coordinate, we're going to go down. So that's going to be all the way down here at the corner at -5, 5. Sorry, -5, -5. For C, 3, 3, super easy. Start at the origin. Since 3 is our x-coordinate, we're going to move to the right 3. So we'll start from there now. And then our y-coordinate is also 3. And since it's positive, we're going to move up. So 3, 3 is going to be right about there. All right, D, -2, 4. So start at the origin. Look at your x-coordinate. Since it's negative, we're going to move to the left 2. And then the y-coordinate, it's +4, so we're going to move up 4. So to the left 2, up 4. To the left 2, and then up 4. So right about there, and that is point D. For E, just reverse. This time we're going to go to the right 4. Starting from the origin, we're going to go to the right 4, and then down 2. So we're going to go right 4, and then, oops, let's do this again. Right 4, and then down 2. And put a point right there, call it E.